interesting. A lot of people saying they have some issues with their pay-per-view purchase, and it makes me think, what is this mean for ESPN and also giving it away for free? We're gonna find out more right now.
All right. Let's start out with a couple of big picture observations. I'm going to read some of the results here. We'll talk about ESPN Plus. I mean, the guys, they're giving it away for free. I went to go buy the pay-per-view this morning. We're going to talk more about this at the end, but I just want to say this. I went to go buy the pay-per-view thinking, well, one, I need it for work. And then two, whatever issues they were having last night, because, you know, I would periodically look at my phone and there would just be like the entire free world bitter about the state of ESPN Plus and not being able to purchase UFC 313.
Wow. Okay. So what did you think of that? Did you have any issues purchasing, if you did purchase, or if you knew anybody that purchased the pay-per-view? Did they have any issues with this particular matter at hand? Your thoughts on this?
So yeah, if I'm being honest, I've never purchased a UFC pay-per-view in my life. The only times I've ever paid for the UFC are I did have Fight Pass at one point in 2020, and I didn't really use it, and I just ended up wasting like probably around $50 on it because I had it for around 5 months. And then I did go to UFC 297 live, which was in Toronto, Canada in January of 2024. And so and I did spend a lot of money on it, wasted a lot of money. So yeah, the UFC has robbed me in the past, but I also robbed them by just pirating the fuck out of their live streams.
Right. And I think this is standard in today's world, right? And by the way, the topic that is going to follow after this is the pay-per-view model and the fact that they may possibly get out of that model and try something else new. Now, let's continue more onto this particular video and let's react to this right now. Shout out to Luke Thomas, the smartest man in MMA. I know a lot of right-wing dudes don't like this guy because he sort of, espouses left-wing views and whatnot. But regardless of your political opinion, Luke Thomas is one of the smartest journalists in MMA.
I agree.
Right. And probably one of the smartest. So he has a lot of points with a lot of things that he says. So he can't be denied, right? He's an OG of the game. And not only that, he's put in a lot of work and has shown over and over again that he's one of the best journalists in the game just by his articulation, the way that he commands the English language. And then on top of that, his experience with the Marine Corps and his vast knowledge in the world of conventional journalism. So let's hear what Luke Thomas has to say about his ruined experience in terms of buying the pay-per-view and perhaps maybe something that many fans have experienced as well.
Right before that, I'll just say a lot of people think Luke
Thomas.
Thomas.
Other places, they're just giving it away. The UFC is actually in the middle right now as we speak. As we speak, the UFC and ESPN are in the middle of the exclusive negotiating window between the two parties for a future broadcast deal. And then ESPN Plus shit the bed as bad as they did last night and now are giving it away, taking an absolute financial bath in giving that away. Did I not raise issues with ESPN Plus months ago? And did I not in that video state that this organization has had multiple opportunities to improve this service and have simply declined to do anything about it in any way? And sure enough, those chickens come home to roost when, well, up until last night anyway, the UFC's biggest star is in the main event during the window of exclusive negotiating between the two parties, and they fuck it up that bad. They couldn't. I hope that when they do, like, I don't know what kind of deal they're going to have in the future between the UFC and ESPN. I think that.
All right. So thoughts on that? And what were you saying before?
Yeah. But so before the video started, I'll just say right now, I agree with you on Luke Thomas. A lot of people think he's very bland, and like that just goes to show you the type of people who are the type of people who are living on planet Earth today. Like, you have a really knowledgeable guy like this, but then fucking Jews like Ariel Helwani, who like stirring the pot and like causing drama between people, he gets more love than someone like Luke Thomas. Ariel is a little Jew. He, like, fuck Ariel, bro. Luke Thomas is way better than him. And yeah, like Luke Thomas is up there when it comes to the MMA, like when it comes to MMA journalists and stuff like that. And another thing, everything that is just said right now, these are my personal views. These do not reflect anything on your channel.
Right, right. Of course, of course. And you know, we bring anybody here to have any opinions that they like. And this is the MMA world, right? Obviously, one of the complaints that Luke Thomas has when it comes to the MMA world is the toxicity that comes with it. And I got to be honest with you, as much as he hates that, he also has to understand that that goes both ways. But this is the fight game, and the fight game is not exactly a kind place. I mean, not to the degree of understanding that it's a culture of people bashing each other's heads. Now, I know there's a technical and martial arts aspect to it, and a level of respect and a level of decency that we try to espouse, but the reality is a reality. It's a violent sport, and it's also a sport filled with broken people. And obviously, you've seen this guy live fight in Toronto, or I'm sorry, what is it, Montreal or Toronto, right? Where Toronto.
Yeah. So I was at UFC 297 in January 2024 in my hometown of Toronto, Canada. Yeah.
Right. And that was featuring Sean Strickland. So that's one example of a person that's extremely broken, right? So
Yeah.
this is what the sport is filled with, is people like that. Well, the aftermath of the whole entire fiasco of this main event, obviously Alex Pereira's ex-wife comes out, talks about the glee of Alex Pereira losing. Sort of reminds me of Bivol.
Yeah. Because Bivol's wife, or his ex-wife, was bringing forth allegations of domestic abuse. But in the case of Alex Pereira's ex-wife, she was straight up claiming like rape and all that stuff. And I will say, I don't know if I believe it or not, but I will say this is not the first woman to bring forth allegations of sexual abuse towards Alex Pereira. I'll just leave that out there.
Right, right. So yeah, the aftermath of the whole entire thing left with Ankalaev winning the title. A lot of people are making excuses for Alex Pereira. I've even seen a video where one guy rage quit the whole entire main event after his announcement and broke his TV. In fact, let me see if I can pull up that video right now.
827 for the winner by unanimous decision.
So basically, that was the aftermath of the whole entire fiasco to many fans. And yeah, that's the response that many fans had on that particular matter at hand, right? There was a lot of rage quitting, a lot of people that were upset of the whole entire thing. And you know what? Many people were saying this was bad for business, right? Because I got a problem with that statement when people make statements like that. Like, do you just want to watch professional wrestling, or do you want to watch real fighting to find out who the best people are in the world?
Obviously, the latter. And to add on to that, like I was telling you before, Ariel Helwani, he brings kind of like an entertainment sort of thing to it. I don't find it entertaining, but the thing is, he's a drama guy. He likes stirring the pot between people, and he likes sometimes like talking shit to fighters like while he's interviewing them, as opposed to Luke Thomas, who always keeps it professional and who clearly knows more than Helwani. I will always take the consummate professional, the knowledgeable consummate professional over a fraud like Ariel. And the same thing here. I don't give a shit about Alex Pereira. I've never liked the guy, and like you already know that even though I am Muslim born and raised, I dislike the great majority of Muslim and / Dagestani fighters. The only ones that I like are Magomed Ankalaev, Ikram Aliskerov, and Shavkat Rakhmonov. The only Muslim / Dagestani fighters I like. And yeah, Magomed Ankalaev, I was on his Like I've been high on him, especially because he doesn't associate with Team Khabib like that. Like he does his own thing. So like cool,
Right.
you're Muslim, you're from Ramadan, yeah, like you're from Dagestan, and you are doing like you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like you pray 5 times a day. You act like an actual good Muslim. Like I think he's an actual good guy, and he's
Right.
respectable. He's a good example of a good Muslim. Meanwhile, all of Alex Pereira's toxic fans have been hating on him and saying, "Oh, he's ducking," and all this nonsense. And I've been tired of the Alex Pereira. Like I call it a hype train because I've never been high on him. I've been tired of it ever since he like got that fight against that first title fight against Israel Farisani.
Right.
Like I just had enough of this fucking fraud, and I was so fucking happy. Like I don't care how entertaining the fight was. I was just happy to see Magomed Ankalaev finally realize his dream by beating that fraud. And realistically, he was the uncrowned champion for a long time. He beat Jan Blachowicz, however you pronounce it. He beat him back in 2022, but he like it was a draw. And so then they made fucking Glover versus Jamal, and that like what the fuck, like Jamal and even like Yuri, like I can well no, Yuri was not a fake champ because he beat Glover, but like I consider Jamal the fake champ ever since Magomed Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz.
Right. Well, we're gonna get to the fights on that particular matter, but speaking of Luke Thomas as a consummate professional, let's hear more about what he had to say on this experience of trying to buy the pay-per-view. Obviously, he was able to see it, but he bought it after the fact for work reasons and for analyzations of the fight. But let's hear what bad experience he had, and if any fans out there have experienced anything similar.
That they probably will stay together in some way, but like to the extent the UFC gets the upper hand on them in any kind of renegotiating, who could they possibly blame? Who could they possibly blame? I cannot believe ESPN Plus did that. I mean, well, hold on. Let me take that back. I can absolutely believe that ESPN did that. Dude, in the video that I made talking about them, I noted that something was supposed to happen with their future, ESPN, which was, remember, they had that deal with it was with Warner Brothers, and I think who else was part of it? Maybe Paramount or maybe Fox or whoever. They were all going to get together and they were going to form that new service called Venue, VENU. But remember, at the 11th hour, they basically canceled all those plans. Fubo sued them, and then they just decided to drop everything, and they got rid of it. Well, what they had promised was, as part of ESPN's participation in Venue, VENU, there was going to be a new user interface. In other words, we are not even going to bother with ESPN Plus and making it better. We're just going to punt, and then we're just going to put everything into Venue, and that will, like, when we move everything over, you'll see it's just better over there. And they have gotten rid of those plans. Now, what I've seen is that they still have plans for a relaunch under, I forget what the name of it is. It's some kind of updated name, and that is supposed to carry some of the improvements to the service. But like, dude, they haven't improved the user interface or the operability since the moment that they've been with the UFC. And how long has that been now? 7 years almost, not quite, right? Dude, it has not improved at all, and in fact maybe has gotten worse during that time. How hard is it to make incremental but meaningful software improvements, for example?
Well, and that is why many people went and pirated this event. And can you blame them in actuality?
Not at all.
And you know what? This is the reason why also Turkey El-Sheikh had mentioned, you know what, I'm going to lower the pay-per-view prices. But of course, we're talking about a man who's a trillionaire, right? Not a millionaire or a billionaire, because at some point Dana White was only a millionaire. And so he wanted to become a billionaire. And in order to do that, you had to charge $80 pay-per-views. Well, here comes Turkey El-Sheikh, whose whole entire mission statement is not necessarily to gain money, but rather to gain influence in the world. And I think one thing that the Saudis understand, like many other countries out there that put a lot of money behind sports, is that sports can be a very influential thing, especially for your state, especially for your country, and also especially for diplomatic relationships, right? And then you look at Dana White, he could have been in a more powerful position than he is now, if you think about it.
100%.
He's got the Saudis, he's got Donald Trump, right? So in other words, you're going to see Khamzat Chimaev fight for the title in the United States or somewhere in the Western world. But if it needs to be in the United States, that's not going to be a problem, because 47 is going to be right there to bring it. And, just sign off on the whole entire thing just for the sake of Dana White's, wishes. Thoughts on that?
Like, I honestly don't even like, you just worded everything, like you worded exactly what I was thinking, so I don't even know what to
Okay,
ask.
so you agree to that yes, at this point of ESPN, UFC, and TKO's career path, they are at the most powerful that they can possibly be.
Of
And
course.
there's nothing stopping them. Also, they're a monopoly on top of that. But they do have to address these issues to a certain degree. Let's go back to what Luke Thomas had to say about this as well.
Example where instead of jumping in front 10 seconds and you could make it 30, or you could make it 10 or 5, or you can do what Fight Pass does where you can slow it down, or you can do corner audio. They've done nothing.
Now, to be fair, I got to say this, right? Because back in the days before anybody really discovered, or at least for within my circle of friends, before any of us discovered this aspect of pirating pay-per-views, we bought the pay-per-views. We could pause it. There were a few times where guys wanted to, make store runs or this and that. Hey, can you pause it or this and that? And then next thing you know, we're watching the main event at like 11 o'clock when it should have been done at 9. Now, here's the thing. If you pirate it, okay, you can't pause any of it. You got to watch it like you were watching old school television back in the days.
To that project. And by the way, it turns out like sales for subscriptions for ESPN Plus have not merely leveled off, but in fact declined. They've declined. And now you're at a point where you're in the middle of an exclusive negotiating window with the UFC after you told MLB to go pound sand, and there's a lot of other deals getting adjusted along the way. And this happens. Dude, if you're the UFC, you must have been like, this is what I mean about betting against the UFC. It's like, even in situations where you can like them or dislike them, or you can agree with the business decision or not, like, I just have noticed so many times shit goes their way at really important junctures and they're able to capitalize on it. Dude, they must be having, whoever is responsible for these negotiations between ESPN and UFC, they must have been licking their fucking chops on this, because as I mentioned, not only Chris Weidman was tweeting about it last night, Frankie Edgar was tweeting about it last night, multiple journalists were tweeting about it last night. I mean, every time I clocked in on my feed, just everyone, fucking all the Barstool guys outraged by it, all totally justified, like 100% justified.
And you know what? All of this could have been solved by just easily pirating, right? And again, you are open about pirating any of this. I mean, we all do to a certain degree, right? I'll tell you one story about Mayweather, right? When he was watching Conor McGregor fight Nate Diaz, one of his bodyguards was watching the fight on his phone, pirated, by the way, okay? He did it the same way that any of us do, and Mayweather scolded him for it. It's like, hey, listen, this is stealing. This is not what we do. Just go buy the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So thoughts on that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Were you hearing an echo?
Yeah, you're good right now. Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay. Sorry. Like, I got distracted for a bit. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, well, your thoughts on the fact that they could have easily solved this problem by just pirating the whole entire thing?
Yeah, yeah. Like I always just pirate stuff anyway, and so like this is exactly why, like this is literally just why I like okay, if like I'm not like, I'll admit right now, I'm not someone with a lot of money, so if I can pirate something, I'll do it. But like especially with how cards are these days, like why even put the money towards it unless you like I can see it in your case where you buy it for like tax reasons, and then other people who want to make sure that they like people who bet a lot of money on this, they will, and sometimes when like live betting comes into play, they will want to make sure that they buy it so that they're the time where the during the fight, like it's at live time and it's not like lagging like some streams do. So I can see why in that case people would buy it, and in your case why people would buy it. But outside of that, bro, I don't see why people would buy this.
Right, right. Okay, so on to Luke Thomas now. Here we go.
And in the middle of the moment where you're supposed to be negotiating, dude, if I was the UFC, I mean, they're going to have ESPN over a fucking barrel on this. A truly, I cannot say this enough. I don't know what ESPN's long-term goals are, but if they want to hold on to UFC, at least for pay-per-views, they still might. They still might. But the terms are going to be renegotiated. This was a fucking calamity for them. A calamity. And they had it coming the whole time. They've never bothered to improve that service. They've never invested in it. They've never tried to make it nicer or easier to work. They've had multiple, I mean, year over year over year at big events, including UFC pay-per-views and otherwise. They've had numerous issues with, using sales to so the pay-per-view service internally, right? You pay for it and then it shows up. All kinds of problems with it. They never did anything to fix it. They were constantly just patching things up and not really doing any meaningful overhaul of the product. And what do you know? UFC has got the wind at their back in every possible kind of way in terms of like their business. I mean, there are some headwinds, but they're certainly in a great position. ESPN, its future generally very much uncertain. ESPN Bet, a complete disaster for that company. They're losing subscriptions through linear like it's a fucking contest, like it's on fire. ESPN Plus struggling with sales. I mean, that company has got real long-term issues. UFC has been a consistent delivering ticket for them. And then in this exclusive negotiating window, you shit the bed this hard from a product that you failed to ever do anything about.
And you know what? I had a buddy of mine the other day. He told me something to the effect of, you know what ruined mainstream sports, what ruined baseball, and what ruined all of this is when they took boxing as well, when they took it from free TV and put it to cable TV. And now, obviously, we're in the era of apps, we're in the era of the internet. It's a completely different ball game, and it seems that we are experiencing something totally different in terms of these companies trying to make money off of these products in a way where it would be accessible to many people. And in a way, it's almost sort of losing its mainstream value. Because if you notice, when boxing sort of transitioned from the from the ABC free TV era, then they went into HBO boxing, Showtime boxing. It became this exclusive niche sport for only a handful of people that are able to access it. Right? So thoughts on that?
It's hard to say. Uh, Like I wish I had more to add to this specific topic, because like I'm not someone who actually ever like even considers buying pay-per-views and stuff like that. So like,
well, actually, that's the reason why I think that this is perfect, because I know many people. I mean, even yours truly, right? I'm not above this in any kind of way. But I know that you're very much open to it. And again, a lot of people out there are very much open about pirating as well, but they don't have a channel. So, they're kind of free to say that. But again, this sort of like lends itself to like understanding this is a reason why a lot of people pirate, right? The reason why people pirate is because you're not making it easy access for people to obtain these products in any kind of way, right? In fact, it's hard. You jump through loopholes. You got to go through this. You got to go through the app. And then after you go through the app, then you got to press the pay-per-view button. And then there's a different charge on that one. It's just over. And you know what? Here's the thing. They made this fight now for free. And I don't know what that's going to do for the stock of Alex Pereira or Ankalaev, but yeah, let's continue on with this.
And it bit him in the ass at the worst possible time. They had it coming. They had it coming. They absolutely 1000% do not feel sorry for them. Not that you would, but they are deserving of not even the slightest degree of sympathy. They are not deserving of even the slightest degree of understanding of okay, well, listen, otherwise they've been great. They've been shit for almost 7 years. They've been absolute ass for almost 7 years. And when they desperately needed to fix it, when folks like me and plenty others who have much bigger audiences and have complained in much bigger ways about how awful it sucked, they kicked their feet up and said, we don't feel like it. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? The chickens came home to roost. I bet the UFC is going to fucking barbecue those bozos in negotiation over this. Barbecue them. And they're taking, can you imagine how much money they're losing on a fucking on an Alex Pereira headlining title fight contest? You fucked everything up so bad on fight night. You're giving, dude, UFC never gives their pay-per-view away for free like this. In all their years, I'm trying to remember the last time it's anything even.
I do. I remember a time, I believe it was a Sean O'Malley fight where just right after Sean O'Malley had, I believe, defended his title against Chito Vera, they put it out there for free. Do you remember that?
Wait, like, are you saying on YouTube they put the full fight out for free?
Yeah, well, not the entire pay-per-view, because that's what we're talking about here with UFC 313, but just the entire fight. Sort of like what Turkey El-Sheikh does now, right? After the fight is over, you can go to his YouTube page. All the fights are right there.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
But their purpose of doing that for Sean O'Malley was obviously to promote Sean O'Malley, right? Their purpose here of doing this is because this is for free. Because of the fact that they had all these technical issues that, I mean, look, man, you had Chris Weidman, Frankie Edgar complain about it. You had some of the top journalists in the game complain about it and put it on social media. You can't ignore that. Very difficult to ignore, right? Because obviously these are big names that I'm mentioning here, but these big names are fans also, and their experience with the matter is no different than anybody else. It just, yeah, it got ruined in that kind of way.
Even remotely close like this happened. There were fights that were like should have been on pay-per-view, then they had a bunch of injuries and they moved them off, and so they just became like fight nights and stuff like that. Or we're just going to give we're going to call it a pay-per-view number but then give it away on television. Like stuff like that has happened, but never we're going to go through with a pay-per-view. Our pay-per-view distributor made us eat shit all night, and so now they have to figure out a way to get right with everyone. They just give it back to the fans. That never happens. But it happened last night because these fucking bozos have shit on customers. I could not feel more elation for their suffering for a company. All we ask is that these companies try. Can you fucking try? Is trying so hard? Apparently it is. Apparently trying is very, very difficult for ESPN. Well, guess what? You're going to be trying a lot harder now for a lot less money. ESPN is going to barbecue these bozos. Oh, sorry, what am I saying? UFC. I apologize. UFC is going to barbecue them. and they will have had it coming.
Yeah. So that right there, uh, again, he's absolutely right about that. Right. This affects their negotiating deals. This affects how they're going to negotiate with other companies such as Netflix and things of that nature. So, uh, given our final thoughts on this particular matter, where do you see the pay per view model going in the future as opposed to where it is now?
Um,
Do
I,
you feel
I,
that they will try something like a DAZN type of model or something that they do in the UK where they sort of charge like let's say $14 for an event and then the rest is free and this and that? Like, where do you see them doing this in the near future? And also, do you think that this is going to just encourage more pirating?
I think it will 100% encourage more pirating. Like I feel like if they had pay-per-view prices where they were a decade ago, you'd still have a considerable a big like a considerably bigger percentage of MMA fans still buying the pay-per-view. But it's gotten so ridiculous now, like it's not too far off $100 a pay-per-view. So and the cards are also just not as like stacked and like just fun as they used to be, like at least on paper. So yeah, like the more and more people will pirate over time.
Right. And I definitely see that as well. But I also see them try and create different avenues for people to actually buy the pay per views. Because here's the thing, right? There's a lot of people out there that are still not internet savvy. Even people that are within your age group or my age group, or even people that are older than me, there's still people out there that don't know how to operate the computer in that kind of matter, right? And I think that they're going to have to try to find that type of audience because they either have to go against this audience of pirating or they can meet them halfway in a way where like, all right, you know what, this is the model that we're going to do, we're going to give you a reasonable price, but then within that reasonable price also we're going to boost up the quality. In other words, it's going to be a lot easier to obtain. It's going to be a lot easier to hit the pause, to hit the rewind, maybe add a few features where you can have a corner camera. I know they've experienced they've experienced doing that type of broadcasting before, or alternative commentary. I know Uriah Faber and Snoop Dogg once did an alternative commentary for Dana White's Contender Series. So maybe they'll do something like that in the near future. But on any regard, final thoughts on this particular matter, but more importantly, final thoughts on UFC 313, because obviously this is a big topic coming into this Monday after the fact.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, just final thoughts on the particular matter of UFC 313 and any other topics involving pay-per-view scandals.
Well, regarding UFC 313, yeah, like I was not excited for this. Like outside of the main event, because I really wanted to see Alex Pereira lose. I was not excited because like outside of that one fight, like it was just like the rest of the card just sucked. Like I was excited when it was Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker as the co-main, but like I already saw Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev, and like it's not like either of them are boring fighters, but I had no investment in seeing this because like I had Justin winning, and I'm like, okay, you know what, like he's gonna win, and then like nothing's gonna come from this. Like it's not like Rafael Fiziev is ranked above him. It's not gonna do anything for the ranking. So yeah, that fight did not interest me. I did not even watch that bullshit. And then yeah, the main event, like I already spoke about how I felt about it earlier. I'm just happy Magomed won and Alex lost, and I'm enjoying the coping and weeping of all the Pereira fanboys and fangirls. It's great.
Yeah, likewise. And you know what? I thought that it was a great event, but people also have to understand this about combat sports, right? It's a pendulum swing, okay? In other words, there's sometimes where you got a situation like Umar. We really thought, especially on the Muslim side of things, we thought that Umar had this. But Merab came out and showed that he was the best in the world at that weight class, and that's how it goes. Well, guess what? Alex Pereira has been on the run, has defended his title 4 times in a single year, took the short notice fights when he needed to save a Conor McGregor card. He did everything that we asked of him. But in the end, even though he is a superstar, even though he is fan friendly, even though he has great content that he does with Nina Drama and all these other different slogans that he has, it's very catchy. By the end of the day, it's not professional wrestling, it's real fighting. And the pendulum swung in this direction for Ankalaev and the Dagestani fans. So, with that in mind, everybody out there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, like and subscribe to this channel, but also like and subscribe to the new channel, MMA Casuals, featuring Mahfouz right here. All right, and I will see you guys. Oh, go ahead.
Wait. Wait. So like, so this live stream is over? I thought we were going to talk about UFC 314.
No. This is this is a video.
Oh, okay. So when do you want to preview UFC 314?
That's a great question. So, guys, stay tuned because me and Mahfouz are going to preview UFC 314 in the next coming days. And boy, is that card stacked. So we will see you guys in the next one, inshallah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to both of our channels. That is obviously Kyrie Abu El-Kheer MMA that you're watching right here. And also check out MMA Casuals featuring this guy, Mahfouz. He's got a lot of great takes. He's got a great community of MMA chats behind him and MMA forums, something that sort of reminds me of Sheer Dog from back in the days. So come check it out, and we will see you in the next one, inshallah.